My internet connection up here sucks on this laptop. I'm going downstairs.
Solid, dude. You're going mobile like Lynn. Anytime he gets set, well, this is the first time we've gotten some action on your screen.
Oh.
Welcome to the Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweedy, Matthew Johnson, Nick Thomas, and Lynn Dudgeon.
Boss,
Dude, Nick, cover up the Mountain Dew. We're not sponsored. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude, I actually want to put an application in for the Game Fuel, though.
To be sponsored, or?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude, Hey, let's open up the show, guys. It's been a minute. Guys, welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I'm your host, Joel Tweeton, and immediately to my side here is the Lynn Dudgeon. Sir?
Excuse me.
Nice little
what's
pose.
going on?
Not a lot. Down below me, the red-headed ginger returns once again, the Matthew Johnson.
Who's that?
Matt, hold up. Matt, in the intro, Nicholas, could you mute yourself if you're going to open up a bag of chips? God dang it.
Hang on, guys.
Wow. No. Let's continue. I'm not going to redo it. I'm not going to delete that. We're keeping it in. Welcome, Matthew. Okay, Lynn, stop it. Put your, south of the border away. Put that away. And as my third and final co-host, Nick Thomas, crunches down on some Cheetos. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing fantastic. Just recently had my birthday. I'm now 32.
Rolling ever closer to that top of the hill age.
Yeah.
8 more years and you can start rolling downhill. No offense to those that have hit 40. That's just the familiar mid-age range that a lot of, sorry. I've probably lost some of our audience by that insulting statement. Moving forward, guys, welcome back. It has been a minute. Well, to be fair, you'll have just probably seen our previous episode number 60 drop. We covered a couple topics. We went a bit at length and did not do the variety episode that we had intended. A lot of that was due to my pre-drinking before the show started. I will admit that.
So much pre-gaming.
A lot of pre-gaming, that's right. But, guys, this particular episode, I'm going to make the quick, short promise that we're going to cover a variety of topics. I won't dive into what those are. We're just going to let the energy that we're currently exuding carry us forward. So, what, say that again. I got Matthew burping in the mic. I got Lynn popping in and out for half a second. I guess that's snoring. I guess Matt's snoring right now.
We're gonna let the cards play.
Wake up, dude. You just pounded down Game Fuel, which we're not sponsored by, but maybe soon.
I love it.
I know, it's good.
I love you.
It's good. Hashtag Mountain Dew Game Fuel. It's good stuff. All right.
Hashtag Borderlands should have the answers.
All right. I don't have anything movie-wise to talk about right now, but I know Nicholas has jumped into some movies as of late, especially recently.
Oh, yeah.
Before I let him jump into that,
Free.
what, Lynn?
I said spoiler free.
Yeah, spoiler free today. He will make them short, sweet, spoiler free recommendation levels. Because guys, a lot of us have been out of the loop movie wise. So once we get caught up on some of them, we'll do some spoiler casts for sure. But going forward, let's quickly jump into Movie Matters. Welcome to Movie Matters. For the majority of this segment, I'm gonna. That's right, Matthew. Mr. Pillsbury Doughboy.
I was like, Tigger, sure.
Sorry, you're right. My bad. I'm gonna toss it over to Nick. Nick, throw out what you've been seeing lately that's fresh and hot.
Your mother, Alec Trebek. I mean, no,
Oh, come on, dude. The man is ill.
it was a Sean Connery. I'm sorry, Alec.
Sorry.
It was Sean
That
Connery
was
on
a
Jeopardy.
that was a poorly placed joke. I will not delete that. We're making this episode raw, guys. I'm gonna try to be as raw as possible. We're just gonna
And
shoot through this.
For everyone out there, the nerds do support Alec Trebek as he's fighting through his cancer.
That's right. Hashtag fight for Trebek. That's not a trending thing. I just made that up just now. But let's stay in spirit. In spirit of
Back
that,
to
let's
movies.
get back to the movie reviews, sir.
We'll
Lay
take
out
movies
what
for
you've been
200.
watching.
Last week, no, the week before, I went and saw Captain Marvel
Damn.
3 times.
Is that an exaggeration or is that factual?
That's factual.
God damn it! I need
paid
to
for it
get back
once.
into the theaters, Nicholas. I know you had some friends offer you some. Man, I'm behind on movies.
And
Go
for
on.
all the hubbub that people were giving to it and thinking it was going to be awful, they actually just broke $1 billion today. They joined the $1 billion club.
Oh, we're not
Sweet.
doing a lot of Nick. Real quick, we're not doing a lot of news right now, but I do want to throw this out there because I've been keeping up to date on headlines. So, like the Black Panther, a lot of you may not be aware of this, but when Black Panther film was about to come out, there were a bunch of trolling assholes, I would like to say, that were getting on Rotten Tomatoes and writing fake, false, negative reviews, trying to bomb the scores. Now, critically, it doesn't affect the critic score, but a lot of people, when you get on RottenTomatoes.com, a lot of people look at the critic number, and a lot of us who are familiar with it look at the audience rating just to see what the general public thinks about it. Now, people were trolling Black Panther, and they continued the trend by hardcore trolling Captain Marvel. Now, the true fans weren't on there criticizing the film, but but the trolls were creating a lot of negative feedback, causing fans to question the validity of this movie prior to it coming out. Now, back to you, Nick, back to your point. Like you said, the perception was there because there were trolls drawing that score really down before the movie came out.
And back to you, Nick.
Back to you, Nick.
Thank you, Len. And I can gladly say this was a good movie. This was not a bad movie that everyone hyped it up to be. It was as spoiler-free as possible as I could be. It was a Captain Marvel, Nick Fury buddy cop movie,
I love it.
and it was freaking fantastic. I love the chemistry they had and just the way they played well together. It was a good origin story. I'm not going to go in depth on everything. You see some familiar faces that you remember from some of the other Marvel movies, which is great. You see some new faces, which is also great. The two people that stole the whole movie, the whole show. One was a person and one was an animal.
Oh, snap.
So, this was Sammy Jackson in his prime of this movie. I thought it was great. It was fantastic.
Question. Sorry, I'll let you finish. Hold on. I'll throw the questions out in a second. Go ahead.
And then the other one was a very adorable cat named Goose.
So, I'm going to throw out a couple questions to help you. Yes, Lid?
That name Goose. Vicious tentacle.
I mean, quick side note to the
Nope.
Okay, moving forward.
That was too
Quick.
You said spoiler free, damn it.
Well,
Spoiler
no,
free. Come on. Lynn, have you read the spoilers or have you watched the movie?
No, I have seen Funko post their pop figures online, and that is the most adorable cat I have ever seen.
Good job. There we go. So, Nick, to the hardcore nerds out there, is it true? Is it not true that the cat was named differently from the comics?
Yes.
What was the original name?
I'm off the top of my head. Damn it. I hate you.
Oh, sorry, dude. Oh, sorry. I thought you were. Sorry, I'm just testing
I know
your
it was a
hardcore
different
nerdism.
name, but I do.
I don't have it written in front of me, so we don't have to get into that. I was just kind of quick fire testing you. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to call you out like that. I know, Matthew. Disapproving shake of the head. Let's not get into that. I mean, you can surf that while I pose these questions.
Chewie.
Okay. Maybe in light of the Disney, Star Wars, Marvel connections, they changed it. I forget the reason.
Yeah, at the time of the release of the comic book, Star Wars was a big thing.
Right.
But because the time period that this movie is supposed to be in, Top Gun would be a big thing.
So they changed the relevance of the cat's name.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because this is 90s for Captain Marvel. Okay.
And speaking of which, it was a flashback to my childhood, the 90s. And
they did a good job of referencing.
Yes. What's up, Matt?
Do you have some counter statement? Okay, he's nodding for no reason. Okay, let's ignore his nods. Try to contain your facial animations, Matthew.
sorry, I was on my laptop and somebody had it like pretty stinking loud, and when I was going onto a website, it just goes boom. I was like, nope.
Thank goodness you were muted prior. Anyway, moving on. Okay.
But I loved it.
So these were the final points of this review. I was gonna kind of guide you towards and see what you thought. Overall pacing of the film.
Oh, good pacing, actually. I liked it. You didn't get tired. Some people said that Brie Larson was boring and that she was emotionless. I disagree. Completely, wholeheartedly. There was a good pacing to it. It was a good natural progression throughout the whole movie. So I liked it, and I thought they did a really good job on it. There were some things you didn't expect, and it kept you on your toes, and I'm glad they did that too.
Nice.
We now know why Nick Fury doesn't trust people.
Hashtag clues. Thank you for being vague, Nick. Additional question. Did you notice, and how well did you notice or not notice, the de-aging of Nick Fury?
Nick Fury de-aging, you know how old Samuel L. Jackson is, so I knew he was de-aged, but it was very tastefully done. The person that I can actually tell was de-aged because of the spray and hair stuff, and then the airbrushing of the face was Phil Coulson.
And here's the interesting thing. I was just curious, like I was curious about that. Like, how did they de-age a guy who's not that old to begin with?
Yep.
Like visually,
you could tell it's more like the airbrushing to get rid of the wrinkles. Darkening of the hair, more bringing the hairline farther down to make it look like it hasn't thinned out as much. There's definitely some de-aging stuff that's done there, and I don't think it was done digitally. I think it was done through makeup.
Let me throw this out there. I gotta let you know on a little insider trade info that Samuel L. Jackson was 100% CG de-aged.
Really?
And if you didn't notice, that's incredible, because I've heard from a couple reviewers on some other podcasts that they said it was incredibly subtle, and there was only a few moments where with around his mouth that they could maybe briefly tell, but that's only if you know what you're looking for. So according to you, you had no idea Samuel Jackson was CG de-aged.
No, it looked good. I thought they did a really good job on it.
Awesome. And I mean, the guy ages well anyway, so he doesn't look that old to begin with. But if you take a present day photo and compare it to those trailers, they did de-age him for sure. Overall rating, and guys, again, we're still working on that rating system, but on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being absolutely love it, you have to see it, and 1 being complete trash, where do you place this?
Love it. Watch that bitch.
Ooh.
Sorry.
No, you're fine, dude.
Love it. Watch the movie.
Argumentatively.
It was great. And don't listen to the naysayers.
Oh, now, last question, follow-up question.
No, it was not political or SJW at all. So no matter what people were afraid was going to happen with Brie Larson being in there, it did not go that route.
Okay. Not the direction I was going in, but thank you for filling in the gaps there. My final follow-up question is, do you think this is required viewing before Endgame that comes out in 3 weeks? Or 2 weeks as of the airing of this episode?
Required? No.
Will it
fill
enrich?
in some gaps? Yes, it will very much enrich. Because this is an origin story for someone you're going to be introduced to in the Endgame movie. The after credit scenes.
Okay, that's where I was going with
yeah.
without spoiling it. I was asking if those kind of add to the Endgame.
They directly attach to the end of Infinity.
Okay, so for the hardcore out there, you would say you should watch it regardless. I mean, you like the movie anyway.
Hells to the yeah.
Okay. Confirmation made. Matthew or Lynn, do you have any additional questions for Nick at this point on that movie?
No, because I'll be finding out myself tomorrow.
Nice.
Fair enough.
I didn't spoil anything too much for you, did I?
No.
Oh, dude, you were very spoiler free on this, and I like you did a good job of that.
You're not me.
Chewbacca dies.
I won't go into detail about what I'm talking about, but Lynn Foley, like...
Oh, there's the finger. Okay. All right.
We
All right.
just went into the mature stage.
in a tragic butt plug accident.
Ooh. Okay, moving on. Nicholas, anything else on your movie list before we switch up categories?
Yes.
All right.
Today, actually, for a gift to myself for my birthday, I went and saw a movie that I've been waiting for and have been so excited about. I went and saw DC's Shazam. And I have to say, DC is finally stepping up their game. From following up after Wonder Woman and Aquaman doing so great, Shazam was fantastic and one of the funniest movies I've seen in probably the last few years.
Nice.
And to be completely spoiler free, how can I review this? They stayed very true to the comics. I loved where they went with it. There was a surprise at the end that I did not even see coming, and I was so happy they did it, and I was like, yes! Like screaming in my seat. It was awesome. Mark Strong plays a character in there, and I always love his acting, and he brings something to every role he does, and he did freaking fantastic.
I was like, leave it there because I didn't even know he was in the movie. So don't go any further on descriptions.
Okay.
No, it's a spoiler for only like the hardcore moviegoer as far as like knowing who's in a movie and who's not. I didn't even know he was in it. But not telling us what he played is good. That keeps it spoiler free.
As a fan of the Shazam comic books or the Captain Marvel, the original, I was always a fan of that character, and I was worried when they said Zachary Levi was going to be Shazam. But when I watched the movie, all worries, all concerns were laid to rest. He gave a childhood levity and demeanor to the character that carried through as if a 13-year-old would be this giant hulking figure. And he was able to pull that across from being the kid to being the superhero. And I don't think that role could have been done better by anybody else.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
The kid that played as Billy Batson, again, I was worried because he looks a little bit older than he's supposed to be, but he did very good as the role. And the background story and everything that they went into on it, his personal growth was well-timed, well-paced. They kept on top of it. The montages were great. The whole feel of the movie was very light while still being sinister at points, and they kept it really awesome. It was a great movie. Most of the time, I went with my buddy Tyler, and my son Randall. I did not know where they were going to go with the villains. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought Randall because he got a little scared. But he got over it and he loved it, and it's like his new favorite superhero.
Okay, for the listeners and viewers, what age is your son?
7.
Okay, so for a 7-year-old, there were moments where he got a little frightened.
Yep.
Okay. Matthew, I know what website you're on. Shame on you.
Yes,
Don't put that shit on our episode.
It is a PG-13 movie, and I did bring a 7-year-old to it, but he likes superheroes, and I do watch a lot of superhero stuff with him, so I thought he could handle it, and he's been really good, and I wanted to reward him for being good this last couple weeks. So anybody out there that's going to give me flack over it, tough.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. I mean, people take their little kids to go see. And granted, most Marvel films are PG-13. There's a couple that get a little dark. And Infinity War, for instance, I would still advise against people, the really young kids going to that one. Unless you don't care about them crying, about some of their superheroes.
We always skip the first couple minutes of Infinity War for Lincoln and Emmett.
Okay, but Lynn, to be fair, you didn't take them to the theaters where they were stuck watching it and you guys had no clue. You saw it first.
We always screen it before we let the kids watch it. But
well, your kids are also pretty young still. Like your oldest is what, 5, 6?
6, yeah.
Yeah. It's anyway. Yeah, no, we're not giving you flack, Nick. We're not giving you flack.
I gotta say though, if anyone's read the comic books, the actors and actresses, the kids that they got to play as the family in the group home he lives in, was so spot on from the comic books. I about shat myself. It was fantastic and so close. I felt like I was reading the comic book.
High praise.
And later on, it even gets better. So, this one I would definitely say is a movie to definitely watch, and I would watch it in theater because you can't get that feel without that rumble in your chest from that theater stereo system. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, it was great. It was fantastic. Love it. Watch it, please.
Yes.
If you are one to try to stay after credits and watch for after credit scenes, do so, because you will get introduced to some things, and there are some nice little tie-ins to the rest of the DC universe throughout the movie and Easter eggs. So pay attention. You'll get as much humor out of the Easter eggs as you will from the jokes in the movie, not the game. But
nice.
It was fantastic.
Awesome.
Wait, there's a game and I didn't buy it?
I was playing a game before I got on here. Sorry.
He corrected himself, Lynn. Awesome, dude. Were there any other honorable mentions or films that you wanted to throw in there, we can move on. We can just leave it at those two. Those were two really big reviews.
The Quiet Place has recently come out on Hulu. and I watched that. That was really good.
Okay, yeah, we discussed that in an episode a while back because
That is a great one.
me and
It was
Lynn
pretty
watched it
decent.
together
Yep.
at the time, and then Matt's already also seen it. So
Happy Death Day to You was also good.
yeah, and I want to see that. Oh, hey, since you've seen it, Matthew, can you give us just a short review on it and your overall feelings, just to add it to the list here?
Hit me with your best shot.
Well, so in this movie, you actually get to figure out how that girl starts resetting her day every day.
So those unfamiliar with the first film, it's basically a Groundhog's Day themed horror movie or slasher
Yes.
film where a
Slasher
girl
film.
dies and relives the same day of her death. And
Yes.
this is a sequel to that.
Yeah, and at first it directly takes off from the first movie, so you got to pay attention.
Recommended watching the first one, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's basically the next day after this happens. So, yeah, it's you find out that one of the characters was actually doing an experiment at the school, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, comparatively to the first one, like, how's the pacing? I know it's a little more on the comedy side, so it's not straight thriller, it's not straight horror, there's a mix of comedy in there.
Yeah.
How's the balance for that for you?
I think everything was well placed. The believable aspect of like how this happens is kind of out there, but not really. And it goes fast paced at first, and then it slows it down, kind of goes into like the comedy aspect of it. The first part of it, the one of the characters other than the girl actually talks about having deja vu when he comes into the dorm room, and then she looks up at him and goes, "What did you just say?" Yeah, so, and that's the credits, or not in the credits, but the previews for it. So I'm not spoiling that part.
Nice. So on a scale of 1 to 4, trash or love it, or should see it recommended, or so.
I'm gonna say it's an in between with should see it and love it.
Okay.
And the only reason being is because of the believable aspect that it doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
But in today's technology, who knows? This could happen.
Oh, okay. So, not to spoil anything, but it tips its hat into a little bit of the sci-fi, huh?
Very much so.
Because I watched the trailers and I saw that element in there, and I'm like, had a big question mark over that. But all right, dude. So it's a recommended watch. All right, guys. Well, let's move forward. That's gonna wrap up our film reviews for this episode. We touched on Captain Marvel, Shazam, both excellent, required viewing, and a highly recommended Happy Death Day 2. Happy Death Day to you. All right, guys. That was Movie Matters. Let's jump in to whatever we can get covered in TV talk. Welcome to TV Talk, nerds. It has been a minute since we've covered television. I know Nick has binged a handful of things, and I have tried Whoa, Lynn, you went vertical. Your screen. Yeah, you went from landscape to vertical. I don't know why. Tilt your phone a little bit. I don't know.
No, and we see your couch.
Oh, there, it's back. It's back. It's back. It's back. I see a foot. Now I see you.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Sexy.
He's back. That being said, Nick, give us some brief rundowns of what you've been watching. Give us kind of I know you watched a handful of things, so we won't dive too deep into too many of them, but and then kind of give us your recommendation on each of these shows that you've gotten into. And if it's one more than one of us has seen, we'll expound a little bit upon it.
I'll actually start on one that we've a few of us have seen actually. Was it Love, Death, and Robots?
Yes, Netflix original anthology show.
Yeah, anthology show, animation.
Shorts.
Shorts, yeah. The night it came out, I binged the crap out of it, and I loved every second of it. They were fantastically done, and the stories were intriguing. There's some pretty risque ones, but they were still it was still well done and tastefully done.
Now, in my
Very tasteful.
Right, Lynn. In my
Very
very tasteful is what you're saying. In my brief comparative statement, I'd like to make a lot like the Matrix anthology that they came out with.
Are you talking the
Animatrix? Yes. Just like that, where there was a variety of short films, the animations varied from CG to like full-blown anime, right?
Yep.
And in this case, some of the CG was pretty damn impressive, and honestly, none of it. Well, okay, there was only one short out of all of them that actually had some live-action footage, but and that one's kind of a fun episode to watch. But the rest of them were the ones that were CG. It was like straight up mocap where they just kind of layered on CG over real actors. Like it was so photorealistic, the CG. And
agreed.
Are you talking like Lucky 13?
Any of them. But yeah, Lucky 13 in particular. That one featured, I forget the actress, but she plays in Orange is the New Black. She also plays in the new Star Trek Discovery series as the lead actress in Star Trek Discovery. That's the same chick. Nick, did you recognize her?
I did.
Yeah. They basically mo-capped her for the whole thing, but the whole episode was CG. It was photorealistic, but what's so awesome about that mocap and CG is I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do with movies in the future, because if you can mocap an entire performance like that and layer on CG, there's literally nothing you can't do, like fantasy sci-fi wise. Like you could put in anything like crazy creatures, different crazy locations, other planets, just like the storytelling is endless and making it look real. Like we're talking about de-aging earlier with like Samuel L. Jackson being de-aged. We talk about Star Wars' Rogue One where they more or less did an okay job with Moff Tarkin and freaking young Princess Leia. Really should have held off until they got it right, but we're getting ever closer to that. What's it called? The uncanny valley is the term regarding that indistinguishing difference between a human face and a CG human face. It's called the uncanny valley. It's that subtle. What are you, Lynn? What are you doing?
I was flipping the camera around because apparently they didn't get the CG right for Princess Leia.
I don't.
That was in Rogue One, sir.
That's Rogue One. I didn't spoil anything from The Last Jedi, you piece of shit. I didn't spoil anything. That was Rogue One. And if you haven't seen Rogue One, you.
I haven't seen that.
That's your fault. That's 3 years ago, dude. That is your fault.
I think
Why
it's
haven't
great.
you
It's
seen
awesome.
Rogue
It's
One?
King Sasori.
Whoa, I'm just messing with you at this point.
Holy shit, dude. I gotta f***ing edit. Okay, timestamp 50 minutes. God dang it, I gotta edit myself out.
Oh no, you said this was a Raw. Nope, this is a Raw.
Raw episode.
Okay,
No
it
editing.
might be. I f***ing cussed you
That
out
got
just now.
saltier than a LOL game.
Holy crap, Lynn.
And Troll of the Year goes to Lynn. Oh.
Nope.
No, yeah.
Matt still has it.
As far as the weight of the
Oh, that was
actual...
last year. That was last year.
Nick,
Yep.
That was last
Nick,
year.
well, okay. As far as like the gravity and weight of his actual spoiler, yes, he still takes the cake. As far as for 2019, no, Lynn wins this one. Freaking A, dude. I didn't know I needed to put a spoiler warning in front of this, but
Loving you.
No, I'm just messing with you
I
guys.
know-
at this
I know
point-
you are,
at this
dude.
point.
I know you're messing with me. Yes. Okay.
All right. Back to
No,
the show.
Quick recovery.
If you want to edit this,
Nick, hold
out,
on.
we're good, man.
No, I don't need to edit. I think this is funny. I think people listening at this far in will think this is funny. Our true fans listening to this episode will find this funny.
What was your favorite from Love, Death, and Robots?
Okay, going back. Let me reskim the overall idea of this. What's cool about this is you've got anywhere from a 16-minute episode all the way down to a 6-minute episode. That's the range of timestamps. I was able to binge 3 to 5 episodes a day at work during my lunch break and my breaks. Because episodes were short, some of them were a little longer. I'd get 2 done during lunch, maybe 1, maybe 2 during break, depending on how long they were. I think there's like 18 plus short films. There were a lot of them. A lot of variety. Couple cartoon animated ones. A lot of CG photorealistic mocap ones. A couple really stylized ones here and there. One of my favorites for humor, like pure comedy wise, was the 3 Robots one. Pure comedy gold. Just to give you the premise with no spoilers, it's 3 very unique robots with unique personalities are wandering an apocalyptic Earth, very reminiscent of the WALL-E apocalyptic Earth, where WALL-E is roaming through a dead planet Earth, and they're exploring all these aspects of humanity and making very incredibly humorous commentary on these different things about human life. The whole short is 11 minutes long, and it's fan-freaking-tastic. Go look it up
What's
on...
this show called?
It's called
Love,
Death, Love, and Robots. It's a Netflix original series. It's an anthology series, so there's no continuity between episodes. Lynn,
I
go
have
for it.
to tag on immediately after Joe, and my favorite episode is called Soul Sucker, and it corresponds with the end of Joe's episode, and it's the theme throughout my episode.
Okay.
Do you want to give any other indications of maybe what it's about, being vague, but kind of giving us an idea? Because I don't remember that one.
No, it'd be like, okay.
It'd give away too much.
It starts similar to like The Fifth Element, where there is an archaeologist, and then there's a kid who provides light, and a mercenary, and they find a ancient evil, and there is a comedic relief to this ancient evil, and it gets great from there until you hit the oh shit moment of the episode.
Basically, Fifth Element.
Kind of, but there's a very dark twist to it, and it makes the episode great.
I'll call
It
it
was
team.
like mixed Fifth Element with The Mummy.
And this is one of the heavily cartoon, like
Stylized.
old school animated episodes.
Yep.
It's not one of the computer CG episodes. It's like storyboard animated.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
One of my
Does Chris
favorites.
Tucker have any of does he do any of the voices in that?
No.
No, he doesn't.
Then I don't want to watch it.
Corbin Nellis.
You're missing
You
out,
don't-
Matthew.
One of my favorites was it was a really cartoony one. It was like the most childish cartoony one about time travel stopping Hitler.
That one was very creative.
I loved it.
It was really short and was very storyboard like, where they kept retelling you the different ways history would have played out if Hitler had been killed in different ways. Very funny, very cute. I would say though, maybe aside from that one, I would say the majority of all these episodes though do have one common theme. Not related to each other per se, but overall, one thing that each of these shorts tended to do that I loved was it would take a concept, drive you through the whole concept in such a short period of time. Essentially, each one of these shorts I could see easily played out in a feature-length film because it had a beginning, middle, and end, like a full concept. And every one of these shorts had, just about every one of them, had a twist. Like, a surprising plot twist at the end of every single one of them. And I think that was the driving force behind what made me want to keep watching more.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was such a good twist. I want to see what happens in the next one. And
So one of the nerds is going to give it I love it.
Oh, absolute must watch. Yes.
I would have to say the one that did not have that, where you saw the end and that was it, was Alex in Outer Space. That one where it ended was pretty much the end.
Alex in Outer Space.
Yep.
Give us kind of a vague description of that one. I can't
Was that
remember
the
how
helping hand?
She's repairing the
Helping
spaceship.
hand.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was like that. Oh man, no, you're right. That one.
That one was cut and dry. That's the end of it right there.
True. It had a moment of
that one.
What's going to happen, but it wasn't a huge twist. You're right. It was a straightforward story.
That was one of those episodes that really gets you in tune with your situational awareness and how you're going to get yourself out of this conflict. That's
that
what that
one
episode
was. That one, to give Matthew an idea, or our listeners, that one reminded me of the Sandra Bullock film Gravity, just a little bit, like on a much shorter scale, but the same kind of disparity in space. You're like, how are we going to get out of this situation? Mm-hmm.
It hits harder. Cool. It hits harder quicker.
Yeah, way quicker.
Way quicker.
Anyway, Matthew, I know what you're going to watch later tonight or tomorrow or this weekend. You got to watch Love, Death, and Robots.
I
gotta watch that, and I gotta watch Santa Cruz Diet.
On a side note, though, do not watch this with any children nearby.
Yep. Not even the first.
I'm gonna be up front. The MA rating is at its hardcorest. There's full-blown nudity. There are a handful of sex scenes, and there's some gratuity and violence. Netflix doesn't shy away from any of that.
So I need to be in my room with a bottle of lube. Oh, what?
Yep.
For some of them, maybe. Yep. I'm not.
The first episode.
Put the notion in the basket. Put the notion in the basket.
Yeah, the first episode. No joke, dude. The first episode is like, don't have your mom nearby. You could be embarrassed. That's like, or children. Anyway,
it would be a lot of Lucy coming home to Richie. You got a whole lot of explaining to do.
Lucy. Anyway,
that was a trippy episode, though.
That was great.
It was.
Yeah.
Oof. Man, they're like
the first episode comes out swinging, literally.
Yeah.
Literally swinging.
Adult thematically and plot twisting at the end. Holy crap, that first episode is intense.
Violent.
It's the live action CG, Matthew. It's the first one that's very photorealistic CG.
That one was the one that told me in my mind that you are going to watch all these tonight and get them done with. That one set the theme for all of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Although you could probably get away with letting the kids watch the 3 Robots episode.
The 3 Robots episode is cute. Like, it's the least adult one out of all of them, and it's filled with comical commentary. Out
That
of
twist
there-
at the end. What a twist.
yeah,
there is swearing, but that's about it. There's
it's
a little there's mild gore, but it's like the kids could handle it.
I got you. I got you.
Anyway, okay. Well, that does it for our Love, Death, and Robots review. Are there any? Let's shorten up the list a little bit. Nick, give us some of like the ones you really want to mention this week. We can dive into other stuff next week. Give us anything else you want to mention before we move on to our final category tonight. Wait,
Yeah,
Matthew.
Magicians.
Oh man, you're caught up, dude. I haven't even gotten into episode 1 yet. I'm caught up to season 4. Season 4 is
I'm on
happening right
season
now.
1.
Well, get caught up, dude.
Bro.
The show is so good. At some point we're gonna dive into that show a little bit at some point because there's so much good about it. But Matthew, what episode are you up to right
We
now?
have Rick and Morty.
12.
Lynn, I promise you, we're going to do that. We're working on notes right now because at any point they're gonna announce season 4, bro, of Rick and Morty.
What are you talking about? Oh, Rick
He
and
wants to
Morty.
dive into Rick and Morty. We keep talking about doing deep dives on shows, and Lynn is still waiting for that Rick and Morty deep dive.
Still haven't watched all of it yet. Anyways.
I'll work on it.
Okay,
That's
review
my
on
fault. That's my fault.
magicians.
Okay, give us your catch. They haven't wrapped up season 4 yet, right? Or they almost?
No. They're, I think they have 2 more episodes to go before the season finale.
Okay, so for those of us that have not watched, because we have largely not covered it on this show, give us like an overall scope of how you have felt about all of the previous 3 seasons. Kind of like wrap it up into like an overall feeling and scope without diving into all of them, and then tell us how season 4 is doing to keep you in it. I know. Try just a general feelings because
okay.
you and me have seen the first 3 seasons.
So, season 3 to me was kind of slow. In retrospect, like it was like the slower of all the
It's
seasons.
the one I just finished, and I will agree with you. There was a lot of slow pacing throughout. Yeah.
Season 4 continues on exactly at the end of season 3, and it's just a series of cluster Fs after cluster Fs after cluster Fs.
So it really snowballs in this season.
Like you want to be able to like binge it. That's what is going on. Like every
Okay,
episode, you're just like so.
I know most people should know what the show is, but for those that haven't even checked it out yet, let's give them a baseline. So it's I'll give you a couple details and you add or take away from it, Matthew.
Okay.
It's
Adult Harry Potter.
It's super adult Harry Potter with some elemental flavors of like Chronicles of Narnia, and it's got the beginning of this show had kind of a whimsical feel to it, and then it turned very adult very quickly in season 1, and has never let up. It covers everything. It covers everything from gods, witches, fantasy creatures, magic, basically. The only difference with this in Harry Potter is that there are no wands. Magic is all translated from the mind to hand gestures, and there are elements of gods in the show. Anything. I'm poorly describing it. That covers a lot of it, but is there anything you want to add to that, Matthew?
So, I would say it's like basically take Harry Potter, put in some elements of Charmed in it, put in vampire movies and
Don't forget Gossip Girl.
werewolf movies, all encompassing into Nordic gods, Greek gods, because they're all there, by the way.
Nice way to fillery it up.
Yeah. And it's
Hashtag someone that knows a little bit about what he's talking about. Fillery it up?
yes,
No?
fillery it up.
No, okay. Do you completely disagree? Do you know what I meant when I said some Chronicles of Narnia? Do you have any clue as to what I meant, Matthew?
Yes.
Okay. In
Like
that
the whole,
going to another land through a portal. Just kind of that whimsical aspect. It's granted, yeah, there's a lot more to Narnia that's not related, but there's a lot of things you
it's
could
Chronicles
compare
of
it to.
Narnia, but basically add multiple universes to that. Like there's
Sure.
different timelines that they're going through. There's
There's
so you
time,
got Back to the
magic,
Future.
time travel.
You got like
The Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, basically like it's an all-encompassing thing where a series of events lead up to this point.
But the show
where-
keeps you on track. It doesn't confuse you horribly.
No,
Like, we're
And-
describing it chaotically. Like, it sounds like
Yes.
there's a lot here for anyone that's never seen it, but it does drive a certain plot forward, and you do track with it.
from the first season, you figure out that there are multiple timelines, and the timeline that they're working in right now, that is the one that like everything is working perfectly, so to speak, is timeline number 40.
It's like, it's like the prime existence, you could say. It's the main one we're going through
Oh
or
shit!
following.
That actually, I didn't know about the timelines.
What part of season 1 are you into? I'm sorry.
Yeah, how far are you?
They don't cover timelines in season 1. I watched all the way to the first episode of season 2.
Yeah, no, Matthew. They don't start talking about timelines till season 3, like mid season 3, and they don't mention.
No.
Yeah, I just watched season
No.
3. They don't start talking about timeline 41 or 42 until season 3. There's no mention of it in season 1 or 2. Of the specific timeline you're talking about, they don't even cover it in season 1.
Spoilers.
Well,
Damn it, guys!
It's only a spoiler if you have any clue of what we're talking about. Right now, it's all
Right.
conjecture.
I could have swore that was like
I've watched it. Well, Nick's really watched it more recently than either of us,
Right.
and he hasn't heard it. So I think it's safe to say season 3 is when they start talking about, or maybe at season 2 somewhere in there they briefly mention it, and Nick just doesn't remember.
2.
But
No, yeah, that's right. It's season 2 because it's about like 5th episode, 6th episode in.
But season 3, they go more into it, and that's when you realize there's a lot to it. You know what I mean? You start understanding. Anyway, so you're reviewing right now. Let's wrap up. You're reviewing the current season, where it's at, where it's going. How do you feel about it? Without spoiling any of it. Obvious. I mean,
So
I
without
mean,
spoiling it,
give us the pacing, the tone, and your excitement level. Like, kind of that doesn't have to be specific. Lynn's waiting to hear. He's like, hello.
Yes, hang on. Hold on.
He's trying to wrap his
Yeah,
feelings around it.
So, without giving too much detail, basically, Elliot isn't himself in this season. He is
Wait,
actually,
who's Elliot?
That's the
One of the
main character
characters.
from season 1 all the way through Lynn.
Yeah.
That's not a
Yes.
spoiler.
It is if you haven't watched the first episode.
He is not himself.
He's the annoying, whiny one.
He is actually living inside himself while somebody else uses him. And the whole premise is he randomly starts killing people, and Quentin is his friend throughout all this.
Okay, Quentin is the main character from season... Sorry. Quentin is the character we follow as an audience from episode one
from
throughout.
episode 1, yes.
Elliot's pretty much the first friend he makes at the very beginning.
Yeah. And a lot of crap happens, and it's all coming back to everybody.
I'm confused.
Man, we need to train you guys in delivering vague reviews, like how to deliver.
Hey, I do fine on vague reviews.
No, for movies, but I'm talking about like Matt's actually trying to explain some plot while being vague, and that doesn't work in this show. What you got to do is kind of give us your overall feeling about the characters, where they're at, and where they're going to go, without talking about where they're actually at. You get what I'm saying? Like, where are they at as characters mentally, and where you hope the show is gonna go, I guess. I mean,
well, there's a couple of characters.
You gave us the premise already.
There's a couple of characters I'm happy that finally have gotten together.
Like, you kind of spoiled it by saying Elliot is dealing with shit. What you could have said was one of the characters is unfortunately going rogue and being controlled by another entity. Right now, it's freaking murder spree everywhere, and we're trying to see where that goes. But now, how are those other characters dealing with this character that's gone rogue? How are they handling it, and where do you hope the season's going to go? I'm trying to feed you some vague ideas, you know?
I quite enjoyed your review of the show, Matt.
Damn titties.
No, I'm just giving him some ideas of how to wrap it up.
It keeps me from actually having to watch the show. I'm not even going to lie.
Well, Lynn, then join us for the actual spoiler cast, because then he can tell you everything, and you can really never watch it.
There we go, because I really don't have the time to.
Well, that being said, let's dive into The Last Jedi right now and just tell you everything again, so you never have to watch it.
Dick move, Ninja.
Do you got that kind of time? I'm down. If you got that kind of time.
It'll take 30 seconds, Lynn. 30 seconds to tell you everything that happened, and you can be good for the rest of the life.
Give me 30 seconds, I'll bring up the script.
Is it going to take you 30 seconds to read the script?
No, he's pulling up the script.
Anyway, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to diminish anything you were saying. Sorry.
Basically,
go on.
like I said in the very beginning, it's a cluster F after cluster F after cluster F, and where it's leading is to what I hope happens is one of the characters actually becomes a heroine without actually being a heroine.
I confused that for half a second to someone who's a heroin addict. I didn't realize you meant heroin as in heroism on the female side.
As in girl, yes.
I know.
Female characters.
Okay. Right.
And it's not who, and it's not who anybody expects.
Man, I want to talk to Nick off air about where he's at and see what he's feeling about it, but I don't want to ruin anything on the episode right now that we're getting into. Recommendation level on the show as a whole, you're like you need to watch it.
I'm saying season 4 kind of revitalized the whole aspect of the show, I think.
What you got into it to begin with?
Yeah.
What's this, Nick?
I said season 4.
Oh, yeah, season 4, The Magicians, now on Sci-Fi, and seasons 1 through 3 you can binge on Netflix. Hails to the yeah. All right, guys. Nick has binged Santa Clarita Diet.
Yes, but we're going to wait for a review till you guys see it.
Okay, I want you to give us the briefest, most vague recommendation on it compared to the previous 2 seasons. We won't dive into it. I just want to see you finished it. So how badly do we need to watch it so that the rest of us can review it?
I did not get up from my chair till I was done with the whole season.
Good. Your tone scared me for a minute. I thought you were going to say it didn't live up to the previous seasons.
No.
Yeah.
you know how like towards the end of the season of the second season, the the what the what the
Yeah,
WTF moments started going up and up
you
and up.
and Matt both told me that, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'll take your word for it. And when I got to it, I had the same freaking experience.
Um,
I was in the lunchroom at my work. In our previous episode where we review this, guys, I was like, I almost had people staring at me because I was almost laughing out loud because I couldn't contain myself watching the finale.
the WTF moments got heavier and heavier and heavier throughout the whole season. It's the humor kind of changed, but still stayed the same. There's different aspect to it now, but it evolved into something freaking fantastically awesome. Um, and I loved it. And the last episode, like my head exploded. Like
Compared to season
like,
2,
yeah, like
how much
WTF,
more?
What just happened? What the hell just happened?
Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, season 2 came in where? For head explosions.
Season 2 head explosion 1 through 10. After seeing season 3
Compared to 3, yeah.
a head explosion, a 5 out of 10. Where this season was a 11 out of 10. Like
Are
what
you
the hell
really
just happened?
whoa, hold up. Are you really saying it was that huge
Yeah.
compared to season 2?
Yes.
Holy crap, dude. Matthew, we got 10 hours ahead of us tonight.
All right, guys. I quit. I'm out. Peace. Hang up.
You learned something about a little friend.
Okay, I was like, don't go any further. Do you really want to open
you,
that can of worms yet?
You learned some stuff about a little friend.
Okay.
And some of the deeper aspects of immortality are expounded upon.
Quick question. What's the pacing of this? Obviously, I get it. You didn't leave your seat. Are there any slow spots, or is it pretty nonstop?
Well, overall, the pacing on it actually slowed down a bit, and it almost had more of a sitcom feel. But I love the way they did it.
Like, in a way, they kind of wrap... By sitcom, do you mean they kind of wrapped up each episode individually, but still, kept it moving forward?
Well, it was still overall story arc, but...
Right. But it had a neat, tiny little wrap-up at the end of each episode, because that's kind of what I think of when I think of sitcom.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
different from the previous seasons, for sure.
Yeah. And,
I mean, it kind of had that aspect in a couple of the episodes in season 2.
I mean, sure, yeah. As a whole season, there was more drive, but yeah, there were episodes that kind of had some tie-off or closure, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I would say I loved it. It's a must-watch.
Now, question. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the level of I can't eat while watching this versus no big deal?
None of those seasons have affected me like that at all.
Dude, I cannot enjoy my lunch while I'm watching this show. I'm not disgusted in a gore way. The show
does not have the iron stomach.
The show just has a way of kind of being gaggy, but not in a gory movie way. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's realistic gore, and then there's, oh, that's just really disgusting, but like kind of in a gaggy, disgusting way. Like season 1, I freaking gagged a lot, and I couldn't eat
when they
during
put
season
his
1. But it's
intestines inside the.
Or eating a hairy arm, a piece of body that's got hair on it. Like there were gaggy moments in season 1. And I'd say there are gaggy...
The intestines and everything just pouring in inside the freaking hole.
Like, she's a zombie. We know the premise of the show is she's a zombie. But it's not Walking Dead gore. It's not like, oh, if you're genuinely upset by actual gore. This is more over-the-top sitcom-y, gaggy moments. That's what I mean. Like, I can't enjoy a sandwich while watching her chow down on someone. Maybe you can. Maybe that doesn't affect you. Anyway, I can't eat a full-blown meat sandwich while watching her chow down on a person. It does. I can't. Nick.
Let's just put it this way: our dearly departed tries to bring meaning to her life in this season.
Okay. Okay. It's got some interesting. Okay. Anyway,
or meaning to her afterlife, should I say?
Right.
Is there any characters in season 3, like the blonde chick in season 2, the one that had all the freaking clams?
Are you talking about the radicals, like the cultists?
No, not the cultists, just the crazy blonde lady.
Who was the blonde lady
That
with
was-
clams? Who are you?
She was
trying to
farming the freaking
At the end of the season 2, where they had to nuke the place with a rocket launcher
yeah.
because the
That's
clam
what-
farm.
Matthew. That's what I meant by the lady
She
that
wasn't
ran
a
the place,
radical.
or the guys that blew it up.
The girl that ran the place, because she was just all like.
There is some new characters kind of like that, but the characters they introduce are even more whimsical, and
Oh,
I loved the type of characters they introduced.
I know what you're talking about now, Matthew. Okay, sorry.
The value and quality of characters they introduced in this season just stepped it up.
Awesome. So this is a must watch. I mean, I already know that from the first 2 seasons. Okay, guys, I know that you have other things you've watched, and I want to get into those, but me and Matt have some catching up to do. Nick, Lynn, I know you shaking the head. You haven't watched shit. We know this.
There's one last show I'd like to talk about.
Okay, I'm
you
throwing
watched
this
the
out
pilot.
real quick. I'm throwing this out there. We're just over an hour.
Okay,
We do
next
want to
topic.
talk some
Next topic.
games.
We'll talk the movie. We'll talk the show later after you watch more of it.
Okay, are you talking Doom Patrol?
I am.
Okay, let's revisit it. I'll try to watch a little more.
Is
and
that
we'll come
on
back next
the
week.
app?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's on the app. DC Universe. You have access, Matthew? Yes. And
Yes.
there's 7 episodes in. I only watched the pilot. We have some catching up to do.
I am
we'll come
loving
back
it
to
for the sheer fact that Brendan Fraser's in it, and he is awesome.
I'm just an
Brendan
side.
Fraser.
Yeah,
You haven't even
Dude,
seen
guys
the
like-
pilot, dude. Oh my god, yes. No.
He's pushing like 45, man.
He doesn't.
don't worry, you don't have to see him.
Well, you see him in the pilot. Once he's Robot Man, though, he just does the voice of Robot Man. They hired a 6.5 foot tall actor to play in the suit, but Brendan Fraser just does the voice for the rest of the show. You see him in the beginning to see his origin of how he became Robot Man, and yeah, he's a middle-aged, overweight dude.
And too much Brendan
Okay.
Fraser, but
But he's got okay, we're not gonna talk about that. Don't watch this with your kids. Seriously. Just like
I got
And the-
no. I didn't even
For
look,
Titans?
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, just
I watched it by
checking.
myself.
Okay, just
no,
checking.
it's good though. It's fantastic. I love it.
I love the pilot, Matthew. And so what Nick is saying, I look forward to the rest. My highlight is the villain. The villain narrates the whole show, and he does it Deadpool style by breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience directly. It's incredible. So that aside, a lot of good stuff about it. We'll come back to that next week,
I was,
guys.
I personally was fine. Sorry, I was personally fine with the villain until they showed him, and I was kind of let down.
All right, I look forward to your commentary later, Nicholas. We'll get
Fine.
into it next
Yep.
episode, next week.
Yep.
Guys,
On
that's
to
gonna
game- Oh, sorry,
guys, that's gonna wrap up our movie review. Whoa, we're a whole 2
TV
topics
talk,
ahead.
bud. TV
That's
talk.
gonna wrap up TV talk. Guys, let's jump into the final third topic of the week. This is a variety episode, and we're finally doing it. It's time for Gaming Bits. Guys, welcome to Gaming Bits. Here we are ready to talk a handful of topics regarding video games. First off, I want to throw out there, we'll get back to the news next week. I think for the wrap up of this episode, we'll just do some reviewing of things we've gotten into this week to make it a little more simpler, because I've got some heavier topics for gaming that we can discuss as a group next week. Like E3's coming. We can talk about our thoughts on Anthem, Destiny, Apex Legends, what Microsoft has planned for E3,
You
who's
mean
going to be there,
Microsoft?
who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. What, Nicholas?
I said, you mean Microsoft? Because they're the only ones going to be there.
Well, not true. Ubisoft has confirmed they're going. Bethesda is going to have a showcase. But yes, that's the point. The topic is who is going to be there and who's not. Sony, nope. EA, nope. And we'll get into that next week. We'll discuss our feelings and thoughts on who's going to be there, what they're going to show off, and the state of the gaming industry. But for now, guys, this week we're going to discuss a couple games that we've individually gotten into. I'm going to throw it out to the table. Who wants to dive in? I know Matthew and Lynn have been playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Since that seems to be fresh on your guys' mind, I'm going to pass it off to you guys to give us your coverage and opinion on that game. So, Lynn's handing it off to you, Matthew, so go ahead and lead the way.
Oh no. We need more Lynn voice in this one.
Well, he's in this segment with you. Either way. Lynn, you want to take things off to...
Yeah, I can start off. I will say, this game, it is like, if you could make a game for me, this would be the one. The only thing that it's missing is the Star Wars element to it. Like, if they could do like a Star Wars samurai, very punishing Souls style game, that would be my game. But
That'd be intense.
That would be very epic, actually.
Right? Hint, we should make that game.
I'm down.
But, okay, I have to say, the visual aesthetics of this game, the overall difficulty, the missables, the replayability of this, it's there. It's a From Software game. It is amazing, and I gotta say they did well. They stayed true to themselves. They stayed true to what they do best, and I did enjoy this game a whole lot.
Yeah, the visuals to this game are, bar none, probably the best I've seen in a game recently. Just the background of the game, like when it's snowing and you're up in the mountain, you can actually see it kind of gathering on the ground, which is very hard to do in a freaking game. Specifically visual-wise. Gameplay-wise, if you're thinking that this is like a button masher, not really. You gotta time everything perfectly correct, or you're gonna get your butt kicked. It is a From Software game, just like Lynn said, and the difficulty of it. A lot of people have been saying that it's too hard for them. This game, they said, was gonna be something that they went back to Demon Souls, which was harder than Dark Souls 1 through 3, or even Bloodborne.
Question.
Yo,
Quick question. When they talk about going back to Demon Souls and you talk about being harder than, is it punishingly harder in that it gets harder every time you die?
Like you lose 50% of everything, and the enemies learn your tactics.
Mm-hmm. So all the money that you gather, you die, you lose pretty much half of it.
Dang.
You start out with like 30% of like outside help, so to speak.
Yeah.
What it is
unseen
based.
unseen aid.
Yes, unseen aid. That's what it's called. And what that is basically kind of like a normalization to the game, to where it's not super difficult, but the more times you die, the lower that goes down, the harder the enemies become. So you learn very quick that the revive aspect of it you need to do to try and not actually die.
Or utilize the stealth that they put into the game. This one as opposed to all the other ones.
Yeah.
Because Matt says to use the revive, but there's also something tied to the revive that if you use it too much, it does also hinder you. So do you need
penalties?
to be careful? Yeah,
A couple of penalties, yes.
There is penalties to revive in this game.
Dang.
And specifically, like if you're at a mini boss and you use a revive, they now have basically like a new ability to throw at you that just kind of catches you off guard. And you're like, where the hell did that come from?
Wow.
So this game, I really enjoy it because it is. I like challenging games. I like playing games on the hardest setting, and this thing doesn't have a setting. It's just strictly hard. And IGN just posted something on their website, like not too long ago, saying that streamers have been having the most difficult time trying to play this game, and it's new streamers, new to the game, new to From Software, and they're like, we can't even do this. They need to like make it easier, and I'm like, no, you just need to get good.
Question for both of you: respectively, how much time have either of you kind of put into it, generally speaking?
I've already put in like 30 hours.
Now, based on difficulty, 30 hours could mean you haven't gotten very far. So I'm kind of
Exactly.
curious, like,
So
how far you may have gotten.
I haven't made it as far as Lynn has. I know that much. I'm what you would call in the second realm, because I haven't beat the mini boss at the end or big boss.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's a mini boss because the big boss is at the end of the game, and yeah, that's for another story. There's supposed to be 50 bosses in this game.
Hashtag truth.
What he means by mini bosses are bosses that give prayer beads, and main bosses are bosses that give you.
So mini bosses will give you prayer beads to help boost your character.
Yeah.
They'll give you stat attributes, and main bosses like the. Not giving out spoilers, but the butterfly lady, who's the first boss, she gives you an essence when you beat her in her final form. And then that essence gives you a special ability, kind of like your prosthetics, although it's called a ninjutsu.
Ooh.
I was wondering about that because I was looking at that in the little. What the heck is this thing? Anyways.
Right? Yep. And it also has a skill tree like all of the other games that you can farm for. And there are certain items that you can get that like give you bonuses to certain attributes. But like the one that I came across, which was a mask, you have to get all 3 pieces for, and then it's a certain amount of skill points, and it gives you a stat point in that attribute. So there are things worth looking out for and spending things on.
I'm gonna have to ask you after the podcast about that mask.
Yeah,
Nice.
So I know what you're talking about. Now I'm like, maybe I should
All right,
farm for
before
some golden scales.
it's definitely worth the farm.
Okay.
so overall, you guys are thoroughly enjoying it and will continue enjoying it.
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. If you are a From Software fan, it is worth the play. If you are someone
Who likes
obsessed with
challenging games?
someone who is obsessed with Japanese culture or mythology, this is definitely also worth the play.
Mm-hmm.
Because it stays very true to the Bushido style and the Shinobi style.
Shinobi style, and yeah. And the
Nice.
whole thing's in Japanese.
Yep.
I
You
noticed
guys
no-
read subtitles?
You could-
there's
no,
yeah,
Subtitles.
there's-
All subtitles.
it's also subbed. No, I mean it's also dubbed. You can actually play it in English.
Oh, well,
don't do
that
it.
takes
It's
away from
bad.
it.
Don't do it. It's bad.
Is it? It gave me the option when I booted up the game. I
No,
haven't
don't
started
do
it
it.
yet, but it gave me the
Don't do
option.
it. It's
You tell me
bad.
that I
Don't
play
do
it.
It's bad, don't do it.
Don't do it.
All right, fair enough. I'll avoid it.
I don't read unless it's an RPG and I have to.
Well,
This
it's
is
a
an
game.
RPG,
It is a
and
very
you
big
most
RPG.
definitely have to.
So I'm about 20 hours into a new game too.
Yes, let's shift gears. Tell me, Nicholas, what game are you 20 hours in?
The Division 2.
The full version, or did you just do beta?
Oh, I've been playing the actual game.
Did you buy? Okay, hold up. Did you buy
No,
it?
nope.
Are you sharing?
Brayhan.
Ah, good old Brayhan. Shout out to you, bro. Who you abandoned for the recording of this episode?
Yep.
I'm kidding.
But he knew before we were in there. And when we left, we were just having fun doing Gambit Prime with some freaking Rat Kings, and it was hilarious.
Right? And for those of you wanting to hear more of our juicy conversations about Destiny, go look up Nerds of Destiny. We have a whole podcast dedicated to it.
Yes.
Anyway, back to your Division conversation, Nicholas. Let's get back on track.
All the issues, hang-ups, and things that you had with the first Division, throw them aside. This is a game that they made up for all of it.
Yeah. I've been watching people stream it because unfortunately I can't purchase it
Did you
myself.
play any of the beta, Matthew?
Oh, I played the beta. I played
Okay.
the crap out of the beta.
Okay. You got a basic feel for it.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with this. It's a cover-based looter shooter. A lot of tacticals behind it. You can actually work really well and co-op with people. It blends PvE with PvP very well, especially in what's called the Dark Zones. And there is hours and hours and hours of content in this game.
Mm-hmm. This is one of those games where you gotta grind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is a looter shooter, friends. Although third-person perspective with some different modes, but it definitely falls into that category of looter shooter.
But one of the things they did fix from the first game to this game, before the PvP environment, the Dark Zone, was there was issues with people trying to get into it. It wasn't new player friendly, but they fixed a lot of those issues now.
Okay.
Yeah, they made it more level based for going into the Dark Zone.
Mhm.
Like I've been keeping track of the Division on Twitch and on Mixer. Mainly Mixer because Twitch has like way too many people, and Mixer's only got like maybe like 30 people in there.
And the map
So
is gigantic.
Yeah, it's probably 2 times or 3 times as big as the first Division. I love the crap out of the first game, and the one thing I like about these guys that made this is that they're continually to actually fix bugs in the background of the game. So they're not. So people are having like steady, gameplay instead of like freaking 20 gigabyte, updates.
Yeah, I've found very few bugs. The only bugs I've actually encountered have been audio bugs. It's not really anything actual physical with the game. You hear just like random doors and boxes open and close, and it's like, what the hell? Who's slamming the door? It's just,
It's the ghost
yeah.
of all the dead people.
But great game. And it is a time consumer. If you do not have the time to sit down and play this game, do not attempt to. This will suck you in, and you will look up at the clock like, where did 12 hours go?
On a side note, just for recognition, the developer is Massive Entertainment that made the game.
Yep.
And it is the published under the Ubisoft banner.
Ubisoft.
Yep.
Ubisoft Quebec.
Yeah. But the people
And this is a Tom Clancy
coding and
game.
designing it specifically are Massive Entertainment, are the developers themselves.
Well, they're actually owned by Ubisoft.
Yeah, this is a Tom Clancy game.
I know, I'm just recognizing the
Through and
group.
through. I know.
Like we recognize Bungie or BioWare,
Right.
it's Massive Entertainment that actually made the game. Sorry, go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying it is a Tom Clancy game through and through. The action in it is believable. So if you want a shooter that's more grounded in reality, this is definitely one. I feel this is even more kind of just the mechanics of it is more grounded in reality than a game like, let's say, Call of Duty. The gun mechanics, they work really well. The tactical stuff behind it is great. The enemies are actually intelligent. The AI is very, very smart. But yeah,
Nice.
great. You got a lot of choices when you're building your character and when you're deciding to go between classes, skills, gear, stuff like that. A lot of choices. But yeah,
Nice.
like I said, I like it.
So, I was gonna say out of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
Because of the type of player I am, and I like getting lost in games and spending hours and hours and hours in games, this gets a 8.5 out of 10. A lot of players that don't like the grind will have an issue with it, but I find it it's almost cathartic. Just the kind of grind it has. I like the type of game it is. It gets intense. The soundtrack is so, what's the best word for that? Eclectic. Anywhere from like 80s pop songs to like sweeping horror movie to electronica. It gets pretty intense, and the sound drives it.
Sorry, I didn't.
Whoa,
I didn't mean.
hold on. Taking this over, moving on from one looty shooty onto my looty shooty.
Oh, hey, quick question.
That's right.
Lynn,
My turn.
before you dive into this one, is there anything? Let's just wrap this up. Let's let this be the last topic because we're at an hour and 45 minutes of record time.
Whoa!
I mean,
I've got like
we'll probably
3 or 4
I don't.
this week.
I don't think we'll cut out much out of the intro. So this might be a close to 2-hour podcast. We covered all the variety. So, Lynn, I'm gonna let you tackle on the third and final topic in our gaming segment. Go.
I will go quick on this one and then move on to a Switch game.
Okay, you can touch on both. That's fine.
Okay, so my looty shooty was Borderlands 1, the Game of the Year edition, with the HD 4K add-on to it.
Nice.
They also did sandbox changes and cost of living changes.
I have good news for you, actually.
What
When
up?
you do get the Xbox, we have the Handsome and Smart that you will have access to.
I do have the Handsome collection as well.
Well, I mean, you'll be able to play with me on Xbox.
You'll be able to continue, Lynn.
With me.
And
Yeah, when he wants to know when that magic's gonna happen, man.
2 weeks I get my tax returns, and we will buy me my Xbox One X and send you yours.
ooh,
Ooh, in a couple weeks,
sweet.
Lynn's gonna be jumping on the Xbox bandwagon. You heard it here first, folks. All right,
I'm saying, back on topic.
back on topic,
Sorry
sir.
about that.
You're
Love
fine.
it. No, you're good. I love it. I'm just trying to stick to topics so that way we can get done.
Go on, dude.
This one, it's everything you wanted in Borderlands 1. All the things that you hated about Borderlands 1 are fixed, and they have aspects of Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel put into 1.
Ooh.
So, it's definitely worth the play for those people who have not played 1 yet. Check it out. It has the head packs from Borderlands 2. They put the minimap in, finally, which was one of those annoying things where you had to constantly go back and forth between the menu and playing to actually locate where you were at. But the other game I wanted to move on to was the Yoshi's Crafting World for Nintendo Switch.
Dude, that looks freaking epic, dude.
All right, Lynn,
Dude.
unfold the details.
Robin and I picked this up. It was one of those titles that she was super excited for. We got into playing it, and it is a Yoshi game through and through. And there are certain within each one of the worlds, there is a gumball machine that provides Yoshi with armor, and it allows you to go through the level and keep all your little hearts without worrying about taking damage. And it also is amiibo supported.
Oh.
And one of the ones that we have was from Yoshi's Woolly World from the Wii U. We had the Yoshi Woolly amiibo for it. And when you put that onto the Switch, it puts Yoshi in a Yoshi. So when you crouch down, Yoshi's kind of like in a Yoshi Trojan horse. And then an enemy comes up and you could go butt and grab him out from inside the external Yoshi.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty great. And it also has little side missions within each world. So there's like a certain flower count that you have to get to unlock the next world. And when you do that, there's a character at the start of each world that unlocks the next world for you. And that character has side quests. So they'll have you go seek out certain things hidden in the background that they want you to collect or shoot or do certain things to advance progress within that world, to gain more flowers, to gain overall progress throughout the whole game, which is kind of something new to the Yoshi series altogether.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Overall, very visually appealing. It is very kid-friendly in that the tasks are all simplistic, and I would definitely give it at least like a 8 or 9 out of 10.
Nice. Nice.
It's worth the pickup. Worth the pickup.
Especially if you're a Switch owner.
Now, I almost want to become a Switch owner for the sheer fact that a game is going to be released that was going to be on Xbox that they had scrapped when it was almost done with completion. And if you get it, please tell me how good and wonderful it is. And you probably know what game I'm talking about right off the bat.
Yep, it has something to do with the guy, and he has some form of soul link to a dragon.
Yeah, Scalebound.
Oh, I heard the
Scalebound,
rumors on
yeah.
this shit. Damn. Hashtag damn.
Yeah, they were 90% complete with the game when they scrapped it. And then they sold the whole IP to Nintendo.
It's crazy.
I also get Cuphead the 19th.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean we haven't talked we haven't talked any gaming news, but that's definitely in the headlines this last month. Cuphead is
That's
finally
one of
coming to Switch.
Not
Microsoft-
Cuphead. Microsoft.
Like moments.
Yeah. The Game Store. Microsoft Game Store is coming to Switch.
No, oh, hold on. Okay, to wrap up our show, because we do need to do that, I'll give you a couple Microsoft-based headliners real quick just to kind of feed on until next week, guys, when we'll dive in deeper on our feelings about said things. Microsoft is definitely in bed with Nintendo, and we know this because in recent headlines, this might be old news for some, but new for some of our listeners. Game Pass specifically, which is the $10 a month, 100 game plus access, kind of like the GameFly, the Netflix of gaming, where you can download from a list of titles and play them. Game Pass is eventually working its way to the Switch. As of right now, live, you can download an Xbox Live app for the Switch where you can actually chat with and look at your friends online on Xbox Live right now on the Switch. Game Pass is coming next, and this benefits both companies. The thing is that Microsoft, we've mentioned it in the past, they've got their xCloud streaming service, which is going on beta test mode later this summer, which is what Google just recently revealed with their video game streaming service called Stadium. I wanted to talk about this eventually. We're going to save our feelings on this later, but I'm just kind of laying out these headlines for you guys to think about. Otherwise, this is going to be a 3-hour episode if I don't cut it here. So Microsoft, they've been talking about it before Google revealed it. Both companies look like they're going to be head-to-head competing in this space with literally allowing us to stream our games on any device, mobile phone, tablets, other consoles, PCs, but the big thing here with Xbox partnering so closely with Nintendo and them offering Game Pass in the future, it's more likely that it's going to be streamable with the xCloud service on Switch, because Switch is another mobile device, just like our phones and tablets. It looks like it's going to very much be integrated somehow once it goes into beta mode. So, bottom line, guys, there's a lot of weight to that topic. I mean, we could talk at length about it, about what that could mean, about getting Halo on the Switch, Gears of War on the Switch, they're porting Cuphead directly to the Switch. Has nothing to do with Game Pass. Microsoft is just,
Skyrim's on Switch.
What?
Skyrim's on Switch.
Yeah, Skyrim. They just added Minecraft to Game Pass. Game Pass continues to grow as being a triple plus service to be subscribed to. That on top of having first party titles all the time, they just keep adding more and more and more to this. They just added, what was it, Just Cause 4, which was out less than a few months ago. It's on there. Skyrim's on there, or Fallout 4 just got added a month ago or so. Even third parties, I know, whatever, you're regardless of your interest in those titles, they're constantly stacking the deck with what's available.
Well, you already got them, so it's kind of one of those. It'd be nice to have something that you don't actually care about buying.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
And
hold up. Briefly elaborate, Lynn. What do you mean?
It's that I already have those. It'd be nice to have something that I wouldn't be interested in that is out of the realm of something that I know that I want to try. I kind of like the
Crackdown
idea.
3?
I kind of like the idea of the indie titles. I kind of like the idea of the not the genre that I normally play titles. You know what I mean?
Okay, but let me just present the other half of this. Completely agree with you, Lynn. Like, I understand why you're interested in Game Pass because of the indie side of it, and I think, but here, to be fair, I think Switch is capitalizing on indie titles. But just as a final point, and you can stew over this if you like, or make a counter statement. Microsoft is trying to add value to their service, and what's more enticing to someone who doesn't even follow Xbox at all than by adding AAA titles to their service on top of... Because here's the thing, Lynn. Fallout 4 is an old f***ing game. Sorry, I'm not going to get vulgar here. I'm at the end of the show. I'm not going to do that. Sorry. Skyrim is a 6-year-old game. Fallout 4 is a 4-year-old game. And here's the thing. I've owned and bought every Halo game upon their release. But guess what? I am still excited that it's offered through a $10 a month subscription service to anyone who's never been on Xbox before. It's about the enticement. Like, it might not entice you that Fallout's on there because you've played it before.
Halo, counterpoint to your point. I see your point. Halo is a staple. Gears of War is a staple, as in it is a exclusive. Okay, PlayStation is trying to counter that by they removed their Vita and PlayStation 3 per month. So next month I get Conan Exile and I get The Surge.
Yeah.
They are also switching over to AAA titles for the free games port per month as an enticement to bring people to PSN.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and those are, and I can honestly say I would not have bought Conan Exile at all. I mean, but I did buy The Surge. And The Surge is because it plays like a From Software game.
I like The Surge.
And Surge was on sale for like $5 last month for Xbox owners.
Fantastic game. It's definitely worth the $5.
Maybe not 5, might have been 10, but it was on sale super cheap. Yeah.
If it was below $20, definitely worth picking it up. I would. That is one of those games that I would recommend.
I mean,
also they are making a Surge 2 in news.
Nice. So, like, it wasn't an arguing point. Like, I wasn't trying to dispute any of your feelings on it. I was just mentioning what. Hold on. I was just mentioning what was, like, recently added to it. Because let's face it, Minecraft. The funny thing is, like, okay, big deal. Like, it was still in the news that Minecraft got added to it, but my final statement, and I'll probably bleep this out because it's at the end of our recording, is who the cares? It's on every freaking platform, and it's been out for 6 years. Who cares? But it still hit headlines that Microsoft added it to their subscription-based service as one more. But Microsoft owns the damn franchise, so why is that in the news? I don't know.
It's a staple that has finally realized that it's a staple, and it should be free to everybody at this point.
If I was going to argue at all, I'd say it's still not free because Game Pass is still costs a monthly subscription, but
you figure across all the games covered in Game Pass, how much do you pay for each title?
Right.
Like pennies on the dollar.
Right. And the idea is that you don't just get one game $10 a month, you get access to 100 plus.
Yeah. And in all fairness to Minecraft, I did buy it back when it was an alpha for PC. I bought it for the PS3. I bought it for the PS4. I bought it for the Switch, and I will probably get it for the Xbox One when I finally do get one.
Right. Unless you account share with one of us, who probably has it.
Yeah.
Which one?
You see at
Minecraft. We're just talking about Minecraft. Sleepyhead.
At that point, I have purchased it for every console that I own, or every gaming platform that I own.
Right. Anyway. All is good. Lots of ideas to talk about next week when we maybe dive in further into the state of the industry and what we can expect at E3 and stuff like that. We'll cover that next week, guys. That was our review of those games. The Division 2, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Yoshi's, what was that, Lynn, that we covered?
Crafting World.
What was the one right before it? Borderlands 1. For
Xbox
Game of the Year.
And PS4 as well as PC.
Right. So, that's going to cover our episode for the night, guys. We ran a little longer than expected, but this is a full-blown variety episode. Take it for what it is. If you made it to the end, leave a comment down below with the hashtag made it to the end. Lynn is against all that cringe, and I don't care. That's fine.
And yes, they're Pink Panther pajama bottoms.
I noticed that a lot earlier than you mentioning it, Nick. But anyway, shout out to all the YouTubers out there that can see this. If you're an audio-only listener, thank you for supporting us nevertheless. Guys, leave a review on iTunes if you would. It helps us get more exposed and seen. Hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. It also helps us get exposed on YouTube. As always, nerds, thank you for joining us. This has been your Nerdy Essentials. Look at all the links down below. We have a Discord. Join the conversation. But I'm going to wrap it up here before I go any further. For me, Lynn, Nick, and Matthew, this has been the Nerdy Essentials for the week. As always, nerds, we will see you on the other side.
And you can find us all in one bop place at www.nerdentialsmedia.com.
I'm only going to throw this out there briefly, Nick. The triple W is completely unnecessary. Most browsers know what you're looking for when you go .com.